The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect those of the Barbers Chat Network, our great partners at H&B Media, or any of our media peers. We're just five idiots who love sports and love to talk shit. If you're offended easily, then this show isn't for you. And for those who aren't offended easily, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Remember, it's only entertainment.
Getting paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna.
What up, y'all? It's your boy Scott, host of I'm Not Gonna Hold You. Are you an athlete looking to redefine your journey beyond the game? Introducing Athlean, your gateway to new opportunities, brand collaborations, and financial empowerment. Join our thriving community of athletes and businesses where you can connect with brands, unlock exclusive campaigns, and amplify your impact on and off the field. Are you ready to rewrite the playbook for your success? Connect with Athlean today at www.athlean.app and let your journey to greatness extend far beyond the game. Athlean, where athletes thrive. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another edition of I'm Not Gonna Hold You. It is December 11, 2023. It is your boy Scott. I am your host. You know to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Barberchair Scott. You can follow the Barberchair Network at BarberchairNet on Twitter and Instagram. And of course, subscribe to our Patreon right now, patreon.com/Barberchair Network, so you can listen and watch I'm Not Gonna Hold You overtime when we go into overtime like the topic suggests. We go about a whole bunch, talk about a whole bunch of topics we didn't get to talk about in the main show, get a lot of local topics and things of that nature. That is the $5 holler you can get if you just want the I'm Not Gonna Hold You content, or the $10 joint if you can get the Barber's Chair All Access. So subscribe to that right now, man. We are here. We got I want to say a pretty loaded show. We got a decent amount of stuff to talk about, man. Let's just bring the crew in and bring the rundown up, man. What we talking about today, man? We're gonna go in and do our sound off, just figure out what everybody been up to this weekend. Then we're gonna be talking about the $700 million man, which is Mr. Shohei Ohtani. Last week when we were on here, we were really much guessing, see where he was gonna go. And he has made that decision. That decision will be played in the real Los Angeles at Chavez Ravine at Dodger Stadium for the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'll talk about that. We'll go over the top storylines from the football weekend. And, of course, we will talk a little bit of NBA. Lakers just won the first NBA Cup in tournament history for the NBA. We're going to talk about that, man. So let's see what we're going to talk about in the Patreon now. Overtime. It's all Bear Central. We are in the hunt season, people. In the hunt season is here. Get ready to get your hopes up and have the rug pulled up under you out on week 18 in classic Bears fashion. But we are here to get your hopes up. We're going to talk about Justin Fields' domination last night against Detroit. We're going to talk about this Bears defense coming together. Jalen Johnson got another interception last night. Montez Sweat has been a force since he got traded to the Bears. Then we're talking about, has Matt Eberflus saved his job already? And then we're going to go through all the scenarios that will get the Chicago Bears into the playoffs, which we didn't think was actually going to happen. It was even going to be realistic a couple weeks ago. But the way that things been shaking up and all six of the teams involved are all equally mid. So this is going to be a roller coaster next 4 games of the season, man. So let's introduce the crew. Bring the crew in here, man. I've got Dante with me. I got JR Bang with me. And we've got the one and only Pavy, who is one of the owners of this great network, H&B Media, filling in for Mikey and Courtney, who will both be out this week. Now, Mikey might join us for like 15 minutes in the Patreon hour. We're not 100% sure to talk a little Bears, but for the most part, Mikey and Courtney will be out for the rest of this week. Mariano will be filling in for them on Friday. And by the way, this is the last full week of the show till 2024. Next week, we'll have the Monday show per usual, and then we're going to have the I'm Not Gonna Hold You holiday special. It's gonna drop next week. There's gonna be a trailer dropping next week. We'll give y'all the exact date. That'll be dropping next week, so that'll be all your I'm Not Gonna Hold You content for 2023, and then we'll be back on January 5th to get y'all ready for national championship game. We're gonna have NFL playoffs coming along. We got a couple watch alongs we're gonna start doing too. So a lot of dope stuff. And to answer my co-host JR Bank's question, yes, we got reads, nigga. Athlean.app. Get in tune. Athlean.app. Get all your stuff on there that you need to get. Anybody else want us to read some ads or do partners and stuff with us? Hit your boys up. That's what we're here for. We got a lot of good things working, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Said we're going to get positive Dante on the local segment. Yes, we are.
Yes,
Dante
yes,
has been
brother.
brought back in. He has been brought
We are
back in.
live, brother.
He is feeling good. He said Mikey is getting it. No, Mikey already got his hair braided. Mikey's looking like good money. Mikey is currently working for the white man. So we will
Yeah.
have him back soon. But Path, what is going on, my nigga?
What's up, man? How you feeling?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm chilling, recovering from yesterday, but I'm fine. We
What
here.
did you do yesterday? Is that story you can tell on here, or is that a summer session story?
Nah, it ain't nothing I haven't done. You know, it's just
Okay,
I had a very solo weekend. I was
okay.
wandering around the city solo, but those are some of my best nights. So yeah, I was wandering. Friday I was wandering around solo, and yesterday I was wandering around solo. So just a quick Harriet's to Katana to Nice Guy to Delilah night. Nothing too crazy.
Nothing too crazy. Slight night. We'll be talking about that. We should be doing summer sessions tomorrow. I didn't hit y'all about y'all schedules, but I'm guessing we doing summer sessions tomorrow if y'all can do it.
I can't. I got
Okay.
therapy.
Okay. Well then, mental health matters, and I guess
Mental
there
health
won't be
matters.
mental health matters. I guess
Mental health
there
matters.
won't be one. I guess there won't be one this week because Wednesday I can't do it. So you know what's a good thing about this now? What I've noticed is we got so much other stuff on the Patreon now that we don't get as much hate mail when it's not summer sessions dropping. Like, you know, we have so much other stuff dropping, but we're gonna try to get y'all one, but it's probably not gonna happen because after next Monday's show, I'm not doing anything for like the next 2 weeks. I'm going to get drunk and just, you know, watch all this stuff, man. But let's get into our first topic, man. We're gonna talk about Mr. Shohei Ohtani. $700 million man, 10 years, 700 million. Of course, if you know your math right, the 70 million a year. But some news dropped soon as we got on there, and that is 68 million of that 70 million each year will be deferred. So basically, he'll be getting $2 million a year for this 10 years, and then he'll be getting the rest of it when he retires. If I'm correct, Dante, I got that right?
No, not
Okay,
when
go
he
ahead.
retires. It will be in 10
Okay.
years, but you can keep going
In
out
10
and
years.
break it down after.
Okay, yeah. So pretty much, this is a massive deal. I will say this: I have been saying this for a year that this was gonna happen. I'm on my Mikey joint right now because Mikey is always sending me receipts when he's mad, when he's right about stuff. So I'm gonna say the same thing. I said last year when the Dodgers spent absolutely nothing in free agency, didn't bolster their pitcher rotation, didn't really add any bats. I said they're trying to make room for Shohei Ohtani. And of course, that you can also say that's common knowledge because the Dodgers and they get everything they want. But I held firm. I held steady. There was a lot of other teams. You know, we heard, you know, Cub fans was pretty loud. Cub fans were pretty loud. And I just gotta say this. Can we stop with the you wasn't that fine anyway when free agency happens and a big player doesn't go somewhere? You know, we need to stop doing it. And I'm not gonna sit up here and act like that. I haven't done that in my fandom, as Pavy can attest right here. I once said that we didn't need Chris Bosh, and I was fine with Carlos Boozer in the summer of 2010.
No, you said Carlos was better than Chris Bosh. Not that you were fine. You said Carlos was a better basketball player than Chris Bosh, than Hall of Famer Chris Bosh. That's what you said.
I don't remember actually
You said
saying
that
that he
shit
was
in the
better.
middle of arts and media management in the summer of 2010. You said it.
I don't remember saying it, but I might have. That it really proving my point that I was upset. You know what I'm saying when it came to this. But there's a lot of Cub fans out there who are saying we didn't need him. We can fill other holes on the team, bro. He's a superstar. And as you see right now, he's not even getting $70 million. He's getting two. He's getting two. So this is just what the Dodgers do. I mean, if you look at this, and if you look at what the Yankees did with Juan Soto, this is just what the big time franchise is doing. I think it's about time. I think it's going to be fun to watch that lineup of Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman. Of course, there's a lot of great bats on that team. They're going to need to get pitching. They definitely need pitching. That was a big issue last season, really the last couple seasons for them, why they haven't gotten farther into the playoffs so they can win their first real World Series. And yes, I say real World Series because I'd ignore anything that came from 2020. So that's how I am with that as well as I am with the Lakers. So for them to win their first real championship, they're going to need that. But overall, I like the move. I think it makes sense. It's something that, you know, that we really need to see from if you're the Dodgers. It's fun to see. And as we just see in the group chat, Drake May officially declared for the draft. I'm guessing that Caleb Williams will be next, and so Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't buy the I'm going back crap like at all. But anyway, let's go to Dante. Dante, what's your thoughts on this deal?
It's a perfect deal. But a lot of people are already complaining about the deferred money, but just real quick, just a quick update. Per the CBA, and this is Bob Nightingale, there's nothing preventing any player from heavily deferring his contract. But considering the financial loss with no interest, few players do it. Ohtani insists he wanted this structure to not only sign with the Dodgers, but ensure that they will keep adding onto the payroll. And to your question before this, his payments start in 2034 and they end in 2043. So he can go sign with another team after this, and
they
he'll
still
be
got to
getting paid
pay
that
him.
Dodger money. Yeah. So it's perfect. It shows me, in my opinion, like I said last week when I compared him to the Joker, I think his run in the majors is not going to be long. He's probably going to play out this contract and go back to Japan and just live his life. Like we've talked about how private he is, his routine, how clearly he doesn't really hold a lot of this stuff that we care about in a really high regard. Like he's just here, to play the game with the best players. So I think he's going to, try to win as many titles as possible with the Dodgers and get up out of there. Like, they can now add Yamamoto, the pitcher. They could probably front load his deal, so he'll get his money up front. And like you said, that's people always complain about, a commitment to winning, players being selfish, even though you hear it less in baseball because everybody gets paid if you have that type of talent. But to see him defer his money with no interest and say, nah, y'all, pay me on the back end so we can keep adding players. You don't see anybody do that. Like, everybody's going for top dollar, top, annual average value. That's usually the big phrase you hear. But with Shohei, it's like, okay, I want to win. I want to get out of here. So, like I said, more than anything, I think this tells me he's going to play out this first deal and probably be done.
That would be crazy. Bang, what you think about this?
I'm not about to sit up and act like I am the number one authority of baseball. I really fell off in the last couple of years. But I do
Well, at
know
least
that
from
the
like a
Dodgers are
money
stacked.
perspective. Yeah, at least from
No,
a
no,
money or
no,
business
no,
perspective. Okay.
but I know that the Dodgers are stacked.
Right.
I know that this team is stacked. So in knowing that and knowing that he got all of this money, but only gonna get $2 million a year, the Dodgers can't lose. Like the Dodgers need to become the Yankees of not our day, but like when they won like 7 or 8 straight back in like 1940 or something. You have
So they
all
can't
of
even
these.
beat Jeter's Yankees.
Nah, they can't. They got to be better than that. You have quite possibly one of the best talents in baseball history. Defer all that money to add talent. He's already a talent. You already got Mookie Betts, and you already got all of these people. And he said, "I'm gonna get 2 million. Add people. There's no excuses." So when people start talking about the Dodgers versus the field, you ain't got no choice but to pick the Dodgers unless something else happens. Because the best player in baseball said, I'm going to take this, go add more people. That's scary.
Pav, what you think about this, man? I know you're not a baseball fan either, but just like from an outside perspective.
Okay, one thing, doesn't Ohtani have to have surgery, or didn't he get like some Tommy John issue at the end of last year, if I'm not mistaken?
It wasn't Tommy John, but he had surgery. Well, he can't pitch.
He's not pitching this year.
Oh, it's,
Yeah.
you're not pitching.
Obviously, I think him not pitching takes away some level of his value. Obviously, like, the Dodgers have had talent in the past. For me, I mean, I've been living in LA. It seems like every single year they get to the playoffs with a great team. They have this player, that player, and they lose every single year somehow outside of 2020 when they happen to win in 2020. But like you said, it was different year, but whatever, they won fair and square, fine. But they somehow find a way to lose every single year. So just getting Ohtani does not guarantee it that they're going to win. So obviously they have to go and add whatever else it may be. Again, I don't watch every night, so I don't know everything that's wrong. But obviously they need to go get something else. As far as Ohtani, I mean, it's not like it's not like he's moving. He's not moving states, right? So he's probably still going to stay in the same crib that he was in. I'm sure it wasn't, that. I mean, you could find a way to get. He's got all that money. You can find a way to get from where you were living at first to Dodger Stadium. I mean, deferring the money is great for tax purposes. Also, like you said, maybe he does want to go back to Japan. I don't even want to guess what $680 million USD is in Japan. As somebody who has been traveling recently, I don't even want to imagine what. Actually, you know what? If we got time, I'm gonna do the damn conversion.
All right, you do that. Well, I'll say this about this. You're right. They need to add more talent because as baseball is one of the things where like one player, no matter how great he is, doesn't fully move the needle. This is not like in the NBA and like you get LeBron or like KD dropped off. You know what I'm saying? You need more. So they need to go out there and get pitching. They can go out there and get a Yamamoto. They can go out there and get in the Tyler Glasnow trade rumors. Then you got some. You know what I'm saying? Then you got pitching to go with your incredible lineup. Now, even with incredible lineups, as you've seen, they still might not hit in the playoffs. I don't think Mookie Betts has had a hit in front of people as a Dodger in the playoffs. And like I said, I'm not including the bubble year. So this to me it's something where you definitely are going to have. I feel like there's going to be a rule against that. With Dante, you said it's in the CBA. And you can defer whenever you want, but most just don't do it. But I do feel like because of this, they're going to find something that's going to make it illegal because you're going to get other franchises that's going to be crying about it. But for Ohtani, hey, man, do your thing, dog.
This man is getting so much money in Japanese yen. I don't even know how to read this. I don't know if this I've never seen as many this many zeros before. I don't know if this is 99 billion. Or I don't know like I'm literally dead serious. I literally do not know how to read this. It comes out to 99383360000.
Mad zeros.
See, that's so shout out Mans for him. Shout out him. And again,
shout
I think
out
fun. I mean, just culture wise, even like obviously LA has a huge Asian community. So I think just him being able to be on billboards and being able to be, a spotlight for that community in the city. I think it'll be great. I'll be at the games. I probably go like $1 a game a year. I'll definitely be there. So, yeah, I think it'll be great.
We will be there. We will be there. I'll 100% be there. But let's go on to the NFL, man. Week 14. We've got a doubleheader on Monday Night Football. I gotta say this about the doubleheader on Monday Night Football. I do not have a problem with them, but why they on at the same time? Like like at least have one come on mad early or have it back to back. Like, you know what I'm saying? The switching back and forth thing, I'm not for. But we got Dolphins Titans, which is gonna be over by halftime, so you might be able to switch anyway. And then you got Green Bay Packers. Go ahead.
I'll say this, this type of stuff is for the streamers. I know you, Mr. Cable, but most people, if you stream, you could do 2 games at once. So they expect you to just have the double box. And go back.
So how Dante brought that up like I'm 70. Yeah.
It's Mr. Cable, man. I'm surprised you ain't got a fucking. I'm surprised Scott ain't got a home phone, nigga. Like.
All right. Hey man, I will die with cable. Okay, y'all. We gonna be paying cable prices in a minute for streaming anyway. R.I.P. Showtime. Showtime is dead on December 14th, and it's gonna be Paramount Plus.
It's called Paramount Plus with Showtime.
With Showtime, yeah.
That's the show. That's the whole.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy because then you got to pay. I'm like, I got Showtime my cable pack. Why Scott ain't cut the cord? No, I have not cut the cord yet. You know why? I don't want to be 2-3 plays behind on sports. Now we'll give YouTube TV this. They're actually pretty good. They're actually pretty good with their speed.
YouTube TV.
That's what I got.
Good with their speed. I'm dying on that hill at least for right now. You know what I'm saying? He said, "Hey, I got cable too."
Scott.
So I got cable too. Yeah, and also too, I watch so much TV and shows that
shout out to the plug, though.
Yeah, shout out to the plug. If I got so many, shows that I watch and different streaming networks I watch, if I add all them up, I might as well pay what I'm paying. That's just how I look at it, man. But let's move on to what I was saying. Like, it's 2 Monday Night Football games. You got that. You got the Packers and the Giants, which is a game of interest to a lot of Bears fans right now. But let's talk about the top storylines from the football weekend. We're going to begin with my number 5 storyline. That is Mr. Patrick Mahomes crying like a hoe last night. This has got to stop. First of all, big Pat fan. But what are you doing, dog? Like, first of all, there's no way you can debate that call on Kadarius Toney, who needs to be doing anything but playing the game of football next season. Like, he done lost at least 3 games for the Chiefs right now. This would be a whole different season if he caught that ball week 1 against Detroit. If he caught that ball against the Eagles a couple weeks ago, and if he didn't, he was so offsides, he was in the concession stand last night. That's how far off he was, dog. And it's to the point where even Pat knew that it was a flag. He was just like, "Oh, the play was so cold. Why y'all ain't let it rock? Y'all let everything else rock with me. Why y'all don't let it rock?" So you having a hissy fit on the sideline. And yes, I do know he was yelling and trying to be held back from the referee. I know that wasn't Matt Nagy, but that's my narrative, not yours. So that's really all that matters. If I think if I say he's going after Matt Nagy, he's going after Matt. At this point, I think Pat is dealing with what everybody else deals with. When things aren't 100% in your favor, we have to deal with situations that are out of your control when everything isn't beautifully set up for you. As great as Pat is, nobody is denying Pat's greatness. He's the best quarterback in the NFL by a large margin. But things have been set up pretty nicely for him. So now he knows what life is like for most people, most players in the NFL, most quarterbacks in the NFL, and he doesn't like it. So need to find a way to adjust. They're losing games, lost another game last night to the Bills, and that wasn't the reason they lost. Let's be 100% real about it. And then you're going up there at the end of the game, you're shaking Josh Allen's hand, and you still complaining. And then you go up there at the podium, you talk about this ruining Hall of Fame careers. It's like, dog, you going out sad right now, my G. Just let it go and just move on. You need to be worried about not opening up your first playoff game on the road, which is looking like it's going to happen. If it keeps up the way it's going, he might have to do that. But I'm gonna go to Pav first. He texted me that he wanted to talk about this. So, Pav, what's your thoughts on this?
Now, okay, as somebody who has played football, I will say, and I played receiver. Granted, obviously, high school football 2 years.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
He was at Luther South. All you had to do is put your name on the sheet and you make the team.
Yeah. I started at wide receiver and I played free safety and cornerback. And I was going to start on varsity at free safety. But I was like, I'm not tackling these people. What are we doing? I'm just going to start. I'm going to take hip hop seriously. But what I want to say about this was now in Pat's favor, when a receiver lines up, usually you do look at the ref and it'll tell you, like, you look at him point and it'll be like, yeah, move back him, like, or you're good. So he was correct on that. Now, I don't know, but also wasn't Tony lined up inside? He wasn't lined up out wide, right? He was lined up in like the slot position, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
so,
he's in the slot.
Yeah, so maybe I don't know if he didn't turn to the ref and look like did he turn to the ref and ask the ref if he was on the line or not, or behind the line or good? I don't know if he did that. But in Pat's all fairness, even though he was whining, in all fairness, when he said the ref will usually tell you if you are offsides or not. The ref will usually tell you. So he wasn't wrong with that. But again, the question is, did Tony even ask if he was offsides? And to say that you just shouldn't call it, it's kind of crazy, bro. The man was like, gee, if you even like on the TV, he's lined up on the blue line. Like, even on the TV, he's lined up on the blue line. Granted, it was a great play, all that, but to say that they shouldn't call it is crazy. But also, like I said, in his fairness, usually the ref will tell you as a receiver if you're lined up fine or not.
And that's a fair rebuttal. My point isn't him even getting my point isn't him getting mad. It's the little hissy fitty through. That was like what Bron did with that Celtics call last year. He was all over the floor and it was just like, all right, dog, chill out. Like, relax. I think Pat's frustration has been bubbling week by week, and it's reaching a tipping point. He's like, I don't have receivers. I got Matt Nagy as my offensive coordinator, and just a whole bunch of things going well. For the first time in his years there, this defense is dominant. This defense is they're dogs,
Scott,
bro. Go ahead.
Scott, I hate to say what I'm about to say because it's going to seem kind of messed up in saying this because we don't want to never question anybody's blackness. That's the first time I ever seen a nigga come out of Patrick Mahomes. Saw his daddy's side. Saw his dad. Patrick Mahomes
saw Big Von?
Hey, man, Patrick Mahomes showed the side of him that he don't want you to see because he out here selling, he's selling ads and all of that stuff. He being the good old boy, $500 million contract shit. Nah, Patrick Mahomes is like, nah, fam. Y'all bringing that out of me. And you know who's bringing it out of him? not the referees. Nah, the wide receivers suck. He tired. All right. It was displaced anger towards the referees because the one moment it was a cold ass play, now they got to bring that shit back. Oh, see, there you go. Yeah, that shit ain't got nothing to do with them referees. It's everything to do with the wide receivers that was given to him to play with this year. He really wanted to go choke them marks, but he can't. So let's go to the referees. Patrick, I'm here to tell you, fam, stop displacing your anger. Finally say what you should have been saying all year long. Y'all suck. And I need y'all to get better because right now we huff. We ain't at the Chiefs standards since I've been here. We got the damn near the same record. Is Tyreek over there? He got more yards than y'all combined. Stop it. Get on your shit. You got to stop displacing that anger at everybody else, fam. Go to their wide receiver room.
Dante, what's your thoughts on this, dog?
Yeah, definitely, bro. Like you said, it's really displaced anger, and he's really been upset with the lack of production from his wide receivers. To Pavy's point, that is true. And somebody even said that the official said he had been lining up off sides all game. So if that's the case, why call it in that moment? But at the end of the day, that's not why they lost the game. They lost because they just haven't been as productive. We saw through even in that game, he dropped another pass. It's like he had a good play, but at the same time, he still dropped a pass. You've seen them not be as productive as they have, as we've seen from that group. Even though it was a different group. It's a different group this year, I should say. And we talked about this. We've talked about this on several pods. That too, Matt Nagy. We don't need to get into that, but
Shout out, I got Jay Hood in the chat.
Yeah, definitely, bro. But once again, we see when a team has a generational talent and they don't continue to add talent around that person, this is the type of shit you're gonna get. He's gonna be frustrated. He's gonna have people who aren't producing, and he has to make up for it. So now Pat has to be a world beater. He has to damn near walk the ball down the field and put it in somebody's hands for them to catch the ball. Sometimes that's how it feels. And Kelsey, he's been battling through injuries this season, but he's still, one of the best tight ends in the game. But at the same time, when you can double him and they're not really worried about the wide receiver out there. Let's be real. They're not concerned with anybody as a vertical threat, as just a possession receiver, anything. It's like, all right, if they catch it, they catch it. But it's really amazing that they've been able to, they were 8-5 now after that loss on Sunday.
Yeah, 8-5.
The fact that they won 8 games with the way that they, have looked like a shell of the offense we're normally used to seeing. So, man, it's crazy. The rant was a lot, but again, like you said, he just mad at his team. And it had nothing to do with the refs. Right? We know he wasn't going to do anything if he got to the refs. It's like when Buddy on the Pistons was running after LeBron. He wasn't going to do shit if he actually got there. So, like, it's one of them.
Pat just going to do this. Pat was just going to do this.
They're going to just do a whole lot of pointing and keep it moving.
So you would nobody would be intimidated if Pat was running at full speed.
Nah, if it's Daddy, yeah, but not Pat.
If Big Von run at you,
now I'm not saying that Pat not gonna be the other side of the family.
Yeah,
what I'm saying is that he not gonna scare me until he do what he need to do. And if he was just gonna come over here and just do this. Whatever.
Pat definitely somebody like, who you swinging at, nigga? Like that, he gonna get that reaction. Like that don't mean he ain't gonna swing off you. That don't mean he ain't gonna flex off your ass. But he definitely
probably bench press 300.
That's what I'm saying.
He would most regular human's ass, even if he's never been in a fight before. He beat your ass.
It's like right. Twitter thought Future could beat up Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson will put them paws.
Russell Wilson will put that drug addict in a full Nelson. In a full Nelson. But let's move on to our next storyline from the football weekend, man. Trevor Lawrence, Sunshine himself. Another loss last night. First of all, that boy was on all the drugs. He had no business playing last night. So I'm going to shoot him a little bail. As I don't 100% think he knew that he was in Cleveland, Ohio yesterday. But he went for 28 for 50, 257 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions as they lost to Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco,
Elite
Super
Joe
Bowl
Flacco.
MVP. When you spell elite, make sure you got Joe in there. Joe Flacco.
Joe, you played your ass off. Ray Lewis.
You come back. That's how he said it. Joe Flacco, 28-45, 26-45, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. He will be going. They said they're going to start him the rest of the season, but they put him on the practice squad. I think, I don't know what the weird thing about that is, but he is going to be starting for this rest of the year. So he'll be going up against the Bears this weekend. But my whole thing about it is this. I'm going to say this. I like Trevor Lawrence, but he gets away with murder. Like, what other quarterback and throw the picks that he throw, and they just leave him alone? Now, I know he has a complexion for protection. If Dak do that, we gonna be all on him. Lamar do that.
Like also plays in Dallas.
This is very true. I know the big thing is nobody cares about Jacksonville. I get that. Yes. I get that. Anybody else, I feel like, but then prime example, the playoff game last year. Yes, I understand they came back and won. He threw 4 picks. He was the reason they were down that much. That's like you dropping something and you clean up your mess. You want credit for cleaning up what you did. That's exactly what Trevor Lawrence is. So my thing to y'all is, do you think it's an unfair thing that they're just, I feel like people are looking at the idea of Trevor Lawrence more than Trevor Lawrence, or is it just something as simple as a nigga playing Jacksonville, nobody care? Pep, I'll go to you, Pep. Go ahead.
So it's funny because I actually had an argument about Trevor Lawrence with Joe. Actually, we were setting up for Hoops and Brews.
Shout out my man Joe.
And he was like, Trevor Lawrence is a superstar, and I was like, I don't think from everything I know about the man, like granted, I don't watch every Jacksonville game. I did watch the Jacksonville Texans game last week, usually, so I have Sunday tickets, so I try to at least watch one NFL game a week, one of the early games, just to like use my thing. So like, and granted, I hadn't looked up at Trevor Lawrence's numbers. I looked at his numbers last week. It was like 15 touchdowns and 9 picks. I'm like, this is superstar. I'm like, this is like right now. Granted, obviously Jacksonville hasn't been good in since like 2016.
But they were good last year. They made the playoffs.
I mean, like
not as good as they are right now. Yeah.
I mean, like before this recent run, they haven't been.
It was good 2018. It was a Jalen Ramsey, Blake Bortles.
Yes, like that. Like so they haven't been good in like a minute. And granted, they do have I think they were 8-4 or something like that. If I'm not mistaken, they're like 8-4.
Yeah, they're 8-5 right now.
And I think people are giving him the credit for the team being good and aren't looking at the other aspects of the team being good. Now, granted, he's not losing them games because they're 8-4, but it's not like he's lighting it up. And I think that, and he looks like a quarterback. I think people are, like you said, enamored with the idea of him as a quarterback. He was a number 1 pick, and he does play in Jacksonville. Like if he played in Dallas, if he played in, I don't know, LA, if he played in any of the other marquee franchises, you might notice his faults more. But the man plays in Jacksonville, and again, the Jaguars haven't been good since 2018. So it's like, okay, Trevor Lawrence must be really out there lighting it up. And like, I don't actually think that that's what's going on there. But
Bang, what you think about Sunshine?
Yeah, man, it's the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it's the history of the franchise. First of all, they don't have like a lot of historic great quarterbacks. Like if you went through the top quarterbacks in Jacksonville Jaguars history, it's just like Mark Brunell, Byron Leftwich. Yeah. What Byron Leftwich on that bitch?
Byron Leftwich on that
he's
team.
Probably the best one.
David Garrard.
Brunell was decent. Brunell's
number 1.
Brunell took them to a couple off.
Mark Brunell is the best quarterback in Jacksonville Jaguars.
Keenan McCardell, nigga. Who else he had? Who was the man who was doing drugs? Jimmy Smith.
Damn.
Jimmy Smith had that. I do crack.
You know what I'm saying? Fred Taylor and all that shit. So one, there's not even like a lineage that you can go to. 2, the talent is there. Like, look, Trevor Lawrence talent is there. But 3, it's you play for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm not even going to use Dallas in this one. If that man played quarterback for the Washington Commanders, fam, it'd be more scrutiny on him than it is with the Jacksonville Jaguars, because Jacksonville Jaguars as an organization is still like, all right, whatever. You know what I'm saying? They was all right, whatever. You know what I'm saying? When they were good. So it's that too. If that man was on another team, believe me, like y'all see, if you watch Get Up, you know what I'm saying? Because I'll be flipping between Get Up in ESPN 1000. I had like one here.
I
Look
catch
at
it
my
towards the
local.
end, like when Pat and Stephen A. come on
Yeah,
right before their show come
cause
on.
cause I be having to clear my mind for all of the national shit, and the reason why I
Yeah.
say that is because they for like 3 days had an argument about Josh Allen and how it's a but behind anything you say good about Josh Allen. He's elite. There shouldn't be a but and all of that stuff. And Kimberly Martin, if you watch one of the episodes, it was like the second to last time they talked about it. Kimberly Martin looked black woman tired. Y'all know the difference between tired
Yeah,
and black
100%.
woman tired
Yeah.
around a whole bunch of white dudes and men, just men in general. She looked tired, right? Josh Allen is talented as shit, but even we scrutinized him on this show. If you switch places, Trevor Lawrence will be getting the same treatment that Josh Allen got last week. You will still have people saying he's talented, but those butts will be stronger. You'll have his people that have his back, and you'll have his detractors. It's just that, yeah, you might look at Buffalo compared to Jacksonville, but Buffalo still had a bigger and better track record than the Jacksonville Jaguars. So it's definitely cultural, but it's definitely regional based too, about why we don't talk about Trevor Lawrence like we probably should when it comes to what's going on this season.
Dante, what you got?
I don't think. I mean, Jacksonville plays a part, but I think more than anything, it's the fact that he's getting the regular grace that talented young quarterback should be getting. He's only in his third year. He's on his second head coach. And at the end of the day, Trevor Lawrence is the prototypical quarterback that everybody wants. No matter what we see with the success of running quarterbacks and things like that, we know people want somebody that can maneuver in the pocket, still get around when necessary, but more than anything, just sit there and deliver throws. Like Trevor can do that. And so I think that's why he doesn't get as much scrutiny. Them making the playoffs last year certainly helped. But overall, it's just off the strength that unless you're in a city like ours, for 9 times out of 10, that narrative is simple. Like he's a young quarterback. It's a lot of stuff he's learning on the fly. We finally got an offensive minded coach in here. Give him the time to grow and see where we can go. So, you won't hear any talk about Trevor Lawrence and his 5th-year option and things like that. Like it's just more so par for the course. They're gonna see what he can do. And like you said, he has the complexion for protection that plays a part in it as well. But at the end of the day, his talent, his overall skill set is there, and it's clear as day. So when you see somebody having these type of flashes, you don't really need to bash them. You got to just let them grow and see what's going to happen.
Definitely, man. Let's go to my
Pat
number
drinks Coors
3.
Light, fam.
Yeah, I gotta throw that one back up on the screen. That was very funny. It said Pat drinks Coors Light. His dad's house eventually gonna come out. Did y'all see the video of Big Von going around Kansas City with Marshawn Lynch?
Yeah.
If you haven't, watch that video.
My point exactly.
It's hilarious, dog. But let's go to my third storyline from week 14 in the NFL, man. This is something that I'm gonna give the bang first. In his words, don't nobody care about no damn Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions have had I'll say a colorful month. They should have lost to the Bears a couple weeks ago, came back at the end and won that game. Lost to the Green Bay Packers on Thanksgiving. Blew a 20-plus lead last week to the New Orleans Saints, but ended up closing out towards the end. And then they got beat down last night, 28-13 by the Chicago Bears. They are still first place in the NFC North. As standings stand right now, they are still the number 3 seed in the NFC. They will be having a home playoff game because there's nobody else in this division who's going to get them within a month to win this division. So that's a win for Detroit, period. If we all know the terrible history of the Detroit Lions, them winning a division was be their first division crown since 1992. I was 4 years old in 1992. That was a long time.
I remember that. I actually remember that season. If you watch the Barry Sanders doc, they specifically talk about that season because that season they went to the that season
they went to the NFC Championship. No, they went to divisionals, right? No, it's the NFC Championship game.
They went to the division. They went to the NFC Championship game because they lost to the Redskins.
The Redskins, yeah.
And I remember that season because Barry was killing the Bears' ass. Like that's when I just was like, "Fuck Barry Sanders," because it was one play that they used in the highlights, and I think this was 1993, where he was playing the Bears and he got caught by like Barry Mentor, or it was either Barry Mentor or Mike Singletary, because I think it was Mike Singletary's last year too, but it was him. It was like John Roper and somebody, and you thought he was about to get tackled, and he went through all of that, got away, and scored a touchdown. That gets highlighted all the time. Um, and I hated Detroit. Like that's when the hate for Detroit really started, because it was like, yo, we can't beat these dudes. With that being said, nah, man. I love Dan Campbell as a coach, man, as a CEO coach, but he dumb as shit. All right, because like we talk about Trevor Lawrence, right?
Yep.
And how Trevor Lawrence and is it the complexion for the protection and all of that stuff, or is it Jacksonville? The reason why we don't look at Dan Campbell the same way we look at Brandon Staley, because Dan Campbell wins on his gambles more than he loses. Brandon Staley for the Chargers loses most of his gambles. Right now, Dan Campbell is starting to lose those gambles, and you can't lose those gambles when you have a leaky defense, the way that defense has been leaking for the past couple of weeks. Like, you got to look at Aaron Glenn and you got to wonder, yo, is your job safe? Because this team right here is a defensive way of going to a Super Bowl. When you think about it, they got Aiden Hutchinson that's over there. That's decent. They got a decent linebacker core. All right, cool. There's a couple of people hurt in their defensive backfield, but this team should be a lot better defensively than they are. And this is why I say don't nobody give a damn about the Detroit Lions, but the Detroit Lions, because, yeah, they winning and it feels like a little bit of a, you know what I'm saying, of a feel-good story and everything, but all that shit that was going on last season, when they won all those straight games, now it's about to start to be the opposite. Because now teams is looking at their defense, it's like, nah, we could go ahead and get these boys right here. So I felt good going into the game. Just like I felt good going into the first game with the Bears in Detroit. But when you look at some of the teams that Detroit is going to have to play, and then even, when they get to the playoffs, oh, yeah, they one and done. They one and done. They could be had right now because that defense is leaky. So if I'm Dan Campbell, I'm sitting down with Aaron Glenn like, yo, we got to fix this now.
I'll
Because
say
we don't
this.
have another chance.
I'll say this, then I'll go to Pavy. As somebody, I was at the game yesterday, and by the way, I didn't know Detroit Lions fans traveled to this year. Like, I've seen them deep at a lot of games. They were deep in SoFi. They was deep in Arrowhead week 1. They were deep like for the first half of that game. I feel like I was in Ford Field yesterday. Like, it was crazy how many fans is out there. So this is a good season for the Detroit Lions. Having said all of that, like you said, man, like you tweeted yesterday, Pavy, these niggas going home first weekend. If I'm a defense in the NFC, I am salivating at playing Jared Goff. Jared Goff is who he is, bro. He is who he is. He's not a bad quarterback, but we're starting to get Jared Goff classic the last couple weeks. The Bears defense has picked them off, 6 times by themselves?
I think so.
Yeah, I think the Bears have got him 6 times themselves. That's not including the picks he threw against New Orleans. That's not including the picks he threw against Green Bay. He has not been playing good football. So you got to look at, like you said, Aaron Glenn. The defense has not been playing well. And quiet as kept. Outside of Aiden Hutchinson, I know they got 3 sacks yesterday, but that defensive line hasn't been as advertised. And so I feel like they're also starting to slowly get away from the run game. And like you said, Dan Campbell or Man Campbell, whatever you like to say him, when you do these little fourth down, going for it, you got to convert them more. And that's the tricky thing about going on fourth down. A lot of times you're not going to do it. They didn't convert on fourth down. I think they only converted on fourth down once yesterday. Look at this upcoming schedule. This week, there's a triple header on Saturday, and they're going to be at the crib playing the Denver Broncos, who are playing some good ball. Denver Broncos just got a dub last night. They're getting back in this wild card race. They've been playing well. If you're Jared Goff, last secondary you want to see is Surtain and them boys over there in Denver, because they're going to be really they're really going to be licking their chops this week. Then they play the Vikings in Minnesota. This is a division matchup. Anything can go, how I know the Vikings ain't been playing the best last couple weeks. Lost to the Bears. In the last 2 games, they've only scored field goals. They have scored a combined 13 points in their last 2 games. So obviously they're going to have to get rid of that. But this is a division game. Anything goes. Then they're going to go up against the Cowboys in Dallas, which they have yet to lose at. I think there's a 15, 16 game win streak at Jerry World now for the Cowboys. So, that's that. And then season on the line, I'm not season on the line, but last game of the season against Minnesota, and Minnesota will be fighting for their playoff lives. So this is not an easy schedule for them. And I even seen a lot of Detroit Lions fans were saying the same thing you were saying, Bang, that Aaron Glenn probably going to be out the door. But Pav, you tweeted this yesterday. You were watching the game. What's your thoughts on what you observed from the Detroit Lions?
Yes, again, I don't watch the Detroit Lions every day, but I woke up, I caught the second half of the Bears-Lions game, and I think the first 3 drives the offense had was 3 and outs. Yeah. They didn't. I mean, granted, obviously the Bears defense has been playing better recently, but they made them look like the '86 Bears first 3 drives. I'm like, bro, y'all just went up there and like they didn't even gain no yards. I'm like, what's going on? And obviously Jared Goff isn't an elite quarterback, but he's game manager style quarterback, which means he's not going to probably win you a game, but in theory, he won't lose you a game. Yesterday, he definitely did some things to lose him that game, even the missed snap that they had. Yeah. But in general, to me, when I watched that game yesterday, the execution just wasn't there. Like the 4th down play. Granted, shout out Fields, he made the pass. But what the fuck were they doing? First of all, you jump offside. It's 4th and 13. Why are you jumping offside? It's not like it's 4th and 1. You think they might sneak a run up the middle or something like that. It's 4th and 13. My brother, relax. What are you doing? Then you leave. I don't know who their cornerback is, but if I don't know who their cornerback is, that probably means he shouldn't be one-on-one, because that probably means he's not one of the best cornerbacks in the league. If that's
with DJ Moore.
If that's man's from the Broncos, what is it? Surtain the second?
Yeah.
If that's Jalen Ramsey, cool. People I know, fine. They're one of the best corners in the league, all pro, fine. I don't know who the Detroit Lions corner is. And you left that man out there with no safety help, none, on 4th and whatever. They got to pass. They have to pass. They can't run. Yeah. So to me, just the execution all day wasn't there. And they just don't look like, granted, again, I don't watch them every day, but the defense don't look elite. It looks cool. It don't look elite. The offense looks cool. It don't look elite. They just look like a team that, granted, they will make the playoffs. And if you are the Detroit Lions, you at least want to start a history of making the playoffs. Right. Because, throughout my whole entire life, they've been probably the worst franchise in professional sports. So maybe for the Lions, if you just make the playoffs, it's a success for you. But yeah, they look like a team that they'll get to the wild card round and they'll lose by 14 points and they'll, try again next year. But it's just, for me, the execution just wasn't there. And when I was like, granted, shout out the Bears, but the way that they made the Bears look was a lot better than what I've seen the Bears look just in general, the way that they made the Bears look. So yeah, for me, the execution wasn't there with the Lions.
I wish that the Bears should be 2-0 against them niggas. But I'll say this before we go to Dante. Funny story about that 4th and 13. So when they didn't convert 3rd and 13, I was like, well, let me go use the bathroom because they've been up on the ball. So I'm getting up and I see them going to the line. And Pav, from being in the press box up there, it's usually very quiet in NFL press boxes. Yeah. And everybody was like, I know they ain't finna snap this ball. Like, everybody was like, there's no way they finna snap the ball. There's no way. And then somebody from WGN was like, is Justin going to pull Aaron Rodgers? He trying to hope they go off sides? And I was like, there's no way you're going outside. Their buddy went off sides. And then the whole press box was like 7. And then, Justin threw the touchdown. Now, you're not supposed to show, favoritism in the booth, but I promise you, there's 2 people in front of me. They did the 2-hand clap when Justin threw that touchdown to DJ Moore. And it was like, oh.
Hey, you saw my text, right?
Yeah.
You saw my text, right? My text was like, yo, these niggas on crack.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, my bad.
Dog, I was like, there's no way. But when he jumped, I was like, because that used to happen to the Bears all the time. It could be 4th and 18. We would jump and Rodgers would find Randall Cobb or somebody like that. But Dante, what's your thoughts on, the Lions going into this final stretch of the season?
The Lions are going to go as far as Jared Goff take them. The reason they've really been struggling is Jared Goff has been a turnover machine the last month. I think he's had 2 turnovers every game, probably the last 3 or 4 Sundays. Against Green Bay, he fumbled it like 3 times. Like you say, he threw 3 picks against us. It's just been bad. And so, he's the head of the snake on offense. And so they only can go as far as he's going to take them. And right now, I think he's going to continue to struggle because, as we've seen throughout this season, as the season's progressed, he's gotten worse. And that's never good as you head into a playoff run. So they only going to go as far as golf takes them. And I don't think he's going to take them that far.
Going as far as golf takes you is a scary phrase to say. And that's why the Rams was like, nigga, we got rid of him. We got rid of him, won the Super Bowl next year. But speaking of Super Bowl losers, I'm gonna go to the Philadelphia Eagles, who the surveillance, the diamond test is going off over there in North Philly. The diamond tester is going off. I think all of us have said this, and I wish Courtney was here so she could rant on them too. They have not played a full game of football all season. They have the record they have because they have stayed around, and that's not like that's not a bad trait to have. For experienced teams, you like this, the stay around factor. Let you mess up, and we'll take advantage of that. They haven't played a complete game. Have not played a complete game all year. Last night, they ran up into Dallas, got beat down 33-13. I've been saying it. I said when we did our sneaky teams 2 weeks ago, once Jimmy Johnson got announced he was going to the Cowboys Ring of Honor, the curse has been lifted. I cannot believe I am buying Cowboys stock. Now, this might come back to bite me in about a month because this is the Dallas Cowboys, but the way they're playing has been incredible. But we'll get into them later. But the Eagles, man, the Eagles went from the number 1 seed. They have dropped all the way to 5. Now, granted, they still have a better record than two of the teams in front of them, 2 of the 4 teams in front of them. But we all know division rules. The Lions are division leader, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are division leader at 6-7, which is nasty. But you know how mad I would be if I was 10-3 and I got to open up on the road. You know what I'm saying? Because of a division winner in front of me, but whatever. So my question to everybody here, because people are gonna call me a hater if I say it, I'm not gonna say they're frauds, but they're looking very funny in the light, and I really want to know how they're gonna finish the rest of the season. I'm pulling up the Eagles schedule right here. So for the rest of the year, they've got Seahawks on Monday Night Football, which is the flex Monday Night Football. First have Monday Night Football game to be flexed in. That's how bad the Patriots are. That they turned down a Patrick Mahomes game to get them up out of that Monday Night Football slots. They're going to be in Seattle, where the Seattle Seahawks are fighting for a playoff spot. Then they're back home against the Giants, even though the Giants are mid. I'm actually not mid, they're trash. This is the NFC East. Anything can happen. They're at home against the Cardinals, then on the road against the Giants. Anything can happen these last couple games. And they're technically like tied with the Cowboys, but the Cowboys had the tiebreaker. Yeah, man. If you're the Eagles, you need to really we're gonna see what kind of team what this team is made out of, because the secondary has been getting burned. I'm tired of Darius Slay going on Twitter and pulling up the plays that he's accountable for. Well, this nigga ain't burned me. This nigga ain't burned me. Look at this. Nobody got time for all that. And a lot of stuff that they did great last year, they're not doing great anymore. Bang, what's your thoughts on the Eagles? We had our NFC East. I'm not NFC number 1 seed conversation last week. What did you see from last night? And does anything worry you?
Nah, don't nothing worry me, man. I think it's just a team that's just going through it when it comes to some of the better teams in the league. Like, they kind of been struggling a little bit all year in some type of capacity. But the one thing about the Eagles is they turn it on at the right time. So I'm not necessarily worried. You know what I'm saying? They played a lot of games in the last couple of weeks. Dallas don't lose at home. And then these last couple of weeks is should be light work for them. So I'm not worried about the Eagles. Eagles tend to get hot at the right time. They got hot at the right time when they went to the Super Bowl and won it. You know what I'm saying, with Nick Foles and all that stuff. And they got hot at the right time last year. So something to look out for, going into the next couple of games. Because, again, the rest of their schedule is light work.
Dante, what you think about the Eagles?
Yeah, bro, no reason to be deeply concerned about a 10-3 team. They need to just start to get the offense together as they head toward the playoffs, and I think they can do that. But like you said, these last couple games, they have not looked like the team that went to the Super Bowl last year. And I think it starts with Jalen Hurts. That's another guy who, I don't want to say he dodges
Gets away with
criticism.
murder. He gets away with murder because he has what's shot my man on Twitter, K Toon. He said he gets away with murder because he got Coach Carter quotes.
Nah, I think that it's the fact that they win ugly, and because he, pretty much embodies that Philly mentality. So a lot of times people don't care. Like he has a lot of Justin Fields ass stat line, and nobody says anything because they win those games. And so I think at the end of the day, but like I said, at the end of the day, I'm not concerned. I'm not overly concerned with him at all.
Pap, do you have any take on this, or you want me to move on?
I mean, they should. I mean, look at their schedule. They should win the rest of their games. When it comes to Jalen Hurts, number one, I think he's literally hurt. Like when I watched him, he's been limping for about like 5 weeks, bro.
Yeah.
He been like every time I seen the man running, he been limping for about like 5
left
weeks.
knee.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily think he's feeling the best. I don't think he's 100%. They do win very ugly. Like every game I see, it ain't never like they gets out there dominating. They win the games, but they ain't never like they gets out there dominating. But you don't have to. I mean, the most important thing is that you win the games. They're still 10-3. When I look at their schedule, I think the Seahawks game will probably be a solid game. That might be another ugly win, but they'll probably pull that one out. But the Giants twice, and who else you say? They said the Giants twice, and who else?
And the Cardinals.
Like you should win at.
Cardinals are bad too.
Yeah, like you should win out. You should end the season. What would that be? 14-4.
Yeah.
Would it be 14-4? Yeah, you should end the season 14-4. And I mean, you get to the playoffs, you get a second life, you take it from there. But yeah, I don't think it's any like serious cause for concern for the Eagles, except for the fact that Jalen Hurts does not look healthy. That man gonna need surgery this offseason.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm gonna close up with this. Jalen does not look healthy, and yeah, I'm not worried about him, but I do feel like this is something where they can make it life harder for them. I don't care how good of a team you are, you don't want to play road playoff games. So, and this is a new test for them. But also it's the NFC. So it's not like there's gonna be any teams that's intimidating. Even though they lost to the Cowboys, they meet them in the playoffs, they can definitely beat them. So I'm not nervous, or I wouldn't be worried. I'm not gonna call them frauds or anything like that, but it's definitely something to keep your eye on, man. For our last storyline of the football weekend before we get to our NBA talk. We're going to talk about the team they just lost to. How about them Cowboys? The Dallas Cowboys, man, they extend their home winning streak to 15. They are also 10-3, but they are number 1 in the NFC East, which means they will have the number 1 seed right now in the NFL. I mean, in the NFC, which is good for them. And I think everything is slowly coming together for this Dallas team. Before it used to be, well, they have a great defense, Can Dak do what he's supposed to do to get the games for them to win? Dak has been incredible. We said on this show last week, as Dan said on Friday when he accused us of being Dak Prescott haters, when we all said he has to win this game. If he lost this game, this pretty much ended their chances of winning the NFC East, and you're not going to become MVP when you're the 5th seed. So this is a big-time win for them. I love how Dak is playing. Now, the question for Dak is, can you get it done in the playoffs? But I love how Dak is playing. The defense has been great. Mike McCarthy's actually been playing calling some good plays. CeeDee Lamb has been incredible. My one worry for this team is still a lack of running game. When the playoffs come and, the game, it gets into the trenches, you're going to need a running game. Because they're going to do things that they know is going to make Dak uncomfortable to take him up out of the game. But if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, you should be ecstatic right now. We know a lot of Cowboy fans. I know Mike B. Mike is a Cowboy fan. I know y'all probably gonna talk about that on some dude this week, bang. I want to know what his temperature's like on that. But I know a lot of Cowboys fans. I know they're probably excited, but this is something where you can look at them and look like, yo, they actually have a legitimate chance to, I don't know about win the Super Bowl, but at least come out the NFC. That's how I feel about this year's rendition of the Cowboys. Bang, I'm gonna go to you. What impressed you from this win last night and just what you've been seeing from Dallas this year?
I'm not gonna say anything impressed me because they do this at home. So it's wild saying it, but it's par for the course. Like they dominate at home. What I realized is that they just need to be at home for the playoffs. Like it's official. Because if they would have played Philly in Philly, this would not have happened. I don't give a damn how many games that the Eagles have been playing. So I'm really looking at not only the Eagles but the 49ers. If somebody were to misstep, Can the Cowboys take advantage and get the number 1 seed and possibly, all roads lead through Cowboy Stadium?
Yeah, that's
It
my fault.
has
I
to
definitely
happen.
said they had number 1 seed. It's definitely San Francisco.
Oh yeah, San Francisco. But it has to happen now. Like it's clear to me they can't go to Santa Clara and do this because they got their ass whooped when that happened before.
Yeah, they did.
You
They got
know,
banged though.
yeah. To keep it a buck, what I like the most is that they restoring the feeling because I'm looking forward to a possibility of a Dallas Cowboys versus San Francisco 49ers rematch
Yep.
in the NFC Championship game. It's just like, in the 90s, and everybody else is sprinkled in. But it wasn't nothing that shocked me or surprised me or anything like that because that's what they do at the crib.
Pat, what's your view on what you've been seeing from Dallas?
I think they have a good football team, and also I think something that's underrated. I think that they collectively, as a team, over the past few years, have failed enough to succeed.
Yeah.
They failed a lot over the past couple of years. Even like the year when I forget what the year in the playoffs when Dak scrambled and then like couldn't get at the line to like
Yeah, that was against the Niners, wasn't it? I think it was against the Niners.
I think so. So like they've and then even like going back to the Dez Bryant thing, like they failed enough in recent years to figure out how to succeed. So they do have a good football team. I don't think that they're the best team in the NFC. I think that's reserved for the 49ers. I've watched them play the past 2 weeks. Debo look crazy. Brock Purdy be figuring shit out. Christian McCaffrey might be the best white person to ever play offense. Offense in the NFL. That's not a quarterback. Christian McCaffrey might be the best white player, non-quarterback, to ever play offense in NFL history.
Yeah.
Obviously Niners got that. So I think that they had the best team, but I'm with Bang. I think number one, I think it's good for the NFL. Obviously, it's the Cowboys, man. Like every people who don't care about football care about the Cowboys. If you get a championship game where it's Cowboys, Niners, everybody's gonna watch that just off like the history of the game and what that means. So yeah, they've been playing some good football. Shout out them. Like I said, I don't think that they are the best team, but I definitely think that hey man, if all things go correctly, maybe they can end up in the Super Bowl. Who knows? So yeah.
I think you brought up a good point about failing because a lot of times teams got to fail before you got to walk before you crawl. Now, granted, the Cowboys been doing a lot of walking, not just in the Dak era, but like the Tony Romo days. And
past 20 years, they've been doing a lot of walking.
Yeah, niggas been doing a lot of walking since the last time Aikman, Emmett, Playmaker, Primetime held up their last championship. But it is great for the NFL. Dante, take us out on this before we go to the NBA. What's your thoughts on the Cowboys?
Man, G, like I said, they catch a lot of slander around here, but you got to tip your cap to them. This is now 15 straight home wins in the stadium that a lot of people used to say they have no home field advantage. They've won 15 straight quietly. So it's been a really good thing for them. Dak has looked amazing. I may have to walk back he ain't in the MVP talk that I said last week because, I mean, let's be real. He has played out of his fucking mind, with them getting rid of the offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore. There were a lot of questions about what they were going to be able to do this season. And I think they've exceeded those, everything offensively. So it's just a matter of, health permitting where they stand at the end of the season. I felt like they were going to finish the season strong. I still feel that way. And so I do think this is a team that we're going to have to look out. And I'll probably say right now, with the way Philly looks, they're probably the number one threat to the 49ers. I agree with Pavy. The 49ers are the best team, but I think this is the biggest threat in the NFC to the 49ers.
Definitely, man. That concludes our football talk. In a Patreon hour, it will be all Bears. All Bears. We're going to dedicate all 45 minutes to the beloved. We're going to have that conversation. But let's get into some NBA talk, man. The NBA just concluded the first ever in-season tournament. The Lakers won the in-season championship on Saturday. Pretty competitive game up until the last, I say couple minutes. When I was watching the game, I knew when Tyrese Halliburton didn't take the challenge of D'Angelo Russell in front of him with like 2 minutes left, this game was about to be over. And I think it was Cam Reddish hit a three, and that was pretty much all she wrote. But the Lakers ended up winning that game 123-109. They are the first ever in-season champions or NBA Cup champions or whatever you want to call it. My questions for you guys, I'm going to go with Pav first. First, what did you think about the tournament? I know you, when the idea was brought, you actually thought it could work. What's your opinion on how it went? And do you think it was a little extra with the celebrations? And now we hear that there's going to be a banner at Crypto.com Arena.
I think it's extra, but you got to make it mean something. I think I think the only way to keep it around 15, 20 years is you have to make it mean something to people. You know, make it obviously it's not an NBA championship, but I think in the future, 10 years down the line, when we look at seasons, like, oh man, they won the in-season tournament, they had the best record in the league, and they won the championship. They had full domination throughout the whole 100 games that they played. I think like that could end up being a thing. As far as what the tournament, I think it was great. Um, it did what I thought it would do, which is give teams and players a chance to shine that usually wouldn't have a chance to shine. It can also have a negative impact, like what it did with Zion and the Pelicans. That's going to be interesting to look at throughout the rest of the season.
They've been calling Zion fat for 48 hours.
Yeah, they've been calling Zion fat for 48 hours, and they wasn't doing that before that game. They've been calling that man fat for 48 hours. But like Halliburton, but there's no possible way we would have been watching it. Like, bro, I watch a lot of basketball. I swear to God, I ain't never cut on the Pacers game. If it's 4 p.m., I'm never the Pacers are playing. I don't know. Let me watch this. And I know Hallie can hoop. I know Obi can hoop. I know they got guys on the roster, but I'm never just cutting on the Indiana Pacers game. That's not something I'm doing. I think that's not something that probably most of us are gonna do unless it's in prime time. So what it does is, man, it gives people and teams a chance to shine. Like even Pelicans Kings. There's no way if I see Pelicans Kings on a schedule, that looks nasty. I'm not watching Pelicans Kings. There's a full slate of games. I'm not doing it. So it just, even Lakers Pacers, I only might watch it because it's the Lakers.
I'm gonna be real. I didn't even want to watch that game. I was rooting for the Bucks to win that game so bad. A couple days ago, because I was like, dog. I knew how that game was gonna go. I knew that was gonna. They have no answer for Anthony Davis, man. But go ahead.
But again, like I think it was great. The way the Lakers played was, I think that they showed. I'm not gonna jump off the bridge and say they can win the championship. Obviously, because the NCAA tournament is one game. It showed me something about Tyrese. Like I think everybody need to calm down a little bit. I like Tyrese. I love Tyrese. Great young hooper. But the things I was seeing people say, I'm like, brother, I would love to see this man do this when they scheme for this man. When somebody actually has a plan, like we gonna do this to you. For 4 straight games, I would love to see what happens. So I think
that tape gonna spread like COVID through the league in the next couple weeks.
I think you got like a little playoff feel. The Lakers look great. Anthony Davis. Okay, here's my thing with Anthony Davis. It's not that he's not having a good season. When you look at his numbers, he's having a really good season. But the shit that he did yesterday,
he can do that all the time.
You can't fucking tell me he do that every night. He don't even the way he was looking. I ain't never seen that man mean mug like that.
Yeah.
What the hell was going on? I'm like, you can't do this shit every day.
Not since the bubble.
But see, I got a hot take, y'all. I know it might not go over, but I think that this in-season tournament proved my point about the bubble title. And how the only reason why I don't count the bubble title is not because of what they went through or anything like that. The Lakers were clearly the best team and the most healthiest team going into the bubble. And to me, the bubble was the one situation where literally everything worked for the Lakers because everybody was healthy, including the person who really brought the bubble championship home, Anthony Davis. Yep. I think that just like the bubble, this situation was aligned for him to look like the Anthony Davis that we should be seeing on a daily basis. If we don't have these motivating factors, we're not going to get the Anthony Davis that we should be getting. And that's what's frustrating to me about him. Because also the pressure wasn't on Anthony Davis.
Pressure wasn't on anyone.
It wasn't on any. Honestly, the pressure was more. If it was on anybody, it was on the 39-year-old dude that was playing his ass off. But this tournament, like I said, I was hoping this tournament were to spotlight people that we didn't expect to see. Check. My hope was that it wasn't blue bloods in the title game. It was 2 teams that are on the come up that could get the spotlight. Didn't get it with both, but I at least got one. Tyrese Halliburton really got the light shined on him. But we all knew what the hell was gonna happen when the LA Lakers was up in that bitch. And Anthony Davis led the way. But let this shit be March. We gonna be like, where the hell is Anthony Davis?
And not even March.
That's my issue. Well, shit, yeah, probably next Tuesday.
I even this is the thing. I'll say this, and before we go to Dante, man, this is my thing about Anthony Davis because I feel like a lot of people act like I hate it. I don't hate it. I'm not gonna act like I'm a fan. I'm not a fan of him. And it has nothing to do with his basketball skills. Well, it has something to do with basketball skills. One, I hate people who waste talent. You know what I'm saying? And I know that's not. I know it might sound disrespectful, and I'm not like trying to go in on him as a player. But when I say about waste talent, because he can do what he just did. That's why you get the Hall of Fame big men who get angry at him. That's why you get the Charles Barkleys. That's why you get the Shaquille O'Neals and guys like that. Like you can do that every night, bro. Like that was the original plan of trading for Anthony Davis. The plan was trade Anthony Davis, give LeBron a big man who LeBron really ain't played with a legit big man in his entire career. Like we're not gonna count Kevin Love. I thought Kevin Love was great with Cleveland. I don't consider him the traditional big man. And even Anthony Davis not traditional, but you know what I mean. And this is supposed to be where LeBron can take some of the load off and, ride off into the sunset, and the Lakers' kingdom will be given to Anthony Davis. That is not happening. LeBron has been doing even more. And like you said, the pressure is never on this nigga. Like it's never. I know we make fun of him. I know he's gonna get the butt of jokes from everybody when he does these things. But at the end of the day, LeBron's gonna get it. If LeBron wins, he's the GOAT. And all the things that's gonna come with it, the cool Nike commercials, all that. If he loses, it's gonna be the same old tired jokes. Well, Michael Jordan would have did this, Kobe would have did this, and that's because all the pressure's on him. So if you're Anthony Davis, knowing the pressure's on everybody else, you should be hooping better. And like you just said, Bangton, we're gonna be talking about in March. We ain't gotta wait to March. We be talking about this in like 10 days. We might be saying this on Christmas when they lose to the Celtics and he got Porzingis working him. That's some stuff that's probably going to happen. So as far as Anthony Davis and the Lakers, I think this was for them, it's good. And they've actually been playing well. And I feel like playing with LeBron gets your career rejuvenized. Look at Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish was bad. Now he's out there making shots. And so I think it was good. I personally enjoyed the in-season tournament. I was somebody who hated it when it was brought up. I was like, this don't make an iota of sense. It was competitive. I enjoyed it. Like Pavy said, I don't watch Pacers game. I damn near don't watch the great teams. Sometimes I'm like, oh, still football on. I don't want to watch that. But it was entertaining, and I felt like for the league it was good too. And yes, I do feel like the banner, I didn't think the champagne celebration was extra. Because I feel like
you're supposed to do that. You won.
You're supposed to do that. People celebrate in baseball with winning wild cards and things like that. So I think that the banner's a little extra, but I understand you got to make this a thing and something big. And next year, I do believe there will be a brand. Some brand is going to sponsor this. It's going to be the Amazon.
The banner for the Lakers is crazy.
If that's what I'm saying. For the Pacers
one, put the banner up, but the banner for the Lakers is crazy. The banner for the Lakers
put Western Conference Finals banners up there. If I'm not
they don't even put division championship. So for the banner for the Lakers is crazy. Pacers, I would understand.
They should have took that little trophy and put it at the entryway of Staples. Let people rub on that bitch when they walk in. Like that's this is nothing serious. Like y'all are bro. Y'all the fucking Lakers, bro.
Get you some free Jack in the Box tacos. We'll take a picture with the in-season trophy.
Yeah, bro. There's no reason for them to hype this, but no, I agree. The tournament from the jump, I already knew what it was. Like I said, I watched soccer, so I knew what the vibes were supposed to be. And I think they nailed it. Like the courts were a little excessive, but I get playing to the youth. All the 2K players out there, and they my player courts and shit be looking like that. So I get why they did that. But overall, I think the tournament was a success. You saw pretty much like what Bang wanted to see. You saw a juggernaut go up against a team that nobody watches. I think Tyrese Halliburton said it leading up into the final. He said, "I'm pretty sure most of y'all haven't watched the Indiana Pacers game this year." So like the players know what's going on.
He said he had only one national
his first national televised game was in the in-season tournament.
Yeah, that was his first one. And so, I think it was a success, and that's part of why you do this is because you want to get your young stars on television, and this is another way to do that during the regular season because they damn sure not going to be there in the playoffs 9 times out of 10. So I think it was a extreme success.
That was a amazing segue by Dante. Going to our next topic. Will Tyrese Halliburton take this and move it on to a playoff run for the Indiana Pacers? As standings stand right now, I'm gonna define that for you. As standings sit right now, they are 12-8, and they are 5th in the Eastern Conference. So that means they will have a first round date with Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers if the playoffs start today. Now, what I mean by playoff run, do I mean like they make a run through the playoffs? No, I more specifically mean can Tyrese have a coming out party on the playoff stage. Like in-season tournament is one thing, the NBA playoffs is another. Prime example, the Bulls didn't beat the Celtics in 2009, but Derrick Rose had like a coming out party in that series. Like we've had stuff with like, I think the Thunder didn't beat the Lakers the first time they played them in the playoffs, but it was kind of like, okay, KD, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, they're going to be something to deal with over the next couple of years. So I'm gonna go to Pat first because he definitely was like, everybody need to pump the brakes on Tyrese Halliburton. Do you think this game can travel to the playoffs and he can at least say, okay, this is something serious. We need to get this guy some more talent?
No, for sure. I mean, like he's a good player. I mean, again, I think and also last year they probably would have made the playoffs if he didn't get hurt. They would have at least made the playing game. I think he had an elbow injury last year. I think they were like 4th or 5th in the East early season last year. Then he got hurt and missed like almost like a month of time, and then they fell all the way out the standings. So it's like they were a bad team anyway. But like this is a solid basketball team. I mean, obviously, I think they need one more thing. Maybe they can go get it before the trade deadline. Maybe they get it in the offseason. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, granted, I don't think the man gonna go out there giving you 25, 15, and 10 with no turnovers every night. But I definitely do think that he can go to the playoffs and put up numbers, win 2 games. Depending on the team they play, it might be a super exciting 6-game series. Like the Pacers score a lot of points. I think it was the game against they do give up a lot. I think it was a game against the Bucks when they played when they scored 125 and only hit 7 threes.
Yeah.
Like they score a lot of points. So I think depending on matchup, I think that they can make it definitely. I think that they can definitely make a very annoying first round series for somebody, depending on the matchup that they have to play. So my answer is yes. Yes, I do.
Bang, what you think about this? You think this is one of those coming of age series we can get from Halliburton in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think so. And that's the other thing that I like about this in-season tournament, that we could get these joints a little bit early. Look, I know I sound old as hell, fam.
Yeah, you about to do old head.
And I know I'm the oldest nigga on here. I grew up watching Sports Channel and Sports Channel Plus. So I remember seeing, the Michael Jordan 63 game, like what the 69 game, excuse me.
Watch that happen?
The Cleveland Cavaliers game, yes. Yes, because it was on Channel 9, my G. And I would never forget that game because that was one of the first games that really got me into basketball, like heavily. Like, I was always watching football with my folks, but you turned it on Channel 9 and you see Mike going ham. It's like, nah, I like basketball too. I say that to say back in the day because whether you had cable or not, you get to see the game on regular television and everything. You got to see more because a lot of these joints was on local television. So talking about the Indiana Pacers, I remember seeing Chuck Person go snap on the Bulls. I remember seeing Mitch Richmond snap on the Bulls because the Bulls used to always have issues going to Golden State. I remember seeing all of these things, right? So that's what this in-season tournament reminded me of. It reminded me of anytime some of these teams that you're not used to seeing win against the Bulls, you saw their best game. So, to make it full circle, like it's good to see Tyrese Halliburton and some of these other players because now you get to see them in moments that actually mean some shit early. And I think it can translate because we haven't even gotten to the All-Star break yet. Like, that's the best part about this. Like, we got Christmas coming up. We haven't gotten to the All-Star break, and we still got that push to the playoffs. So, getting to see it early, I'm excited to see how, Tyrese Halliburton is going to end the season. Quite honestly, I'm excited to see if Zion Williamson is going to end the season in New Orleans. If he's gonna be like, fuck this shit, y'all was calling me fat, and I know y'all leaked some shit and that thing, so I'm gonna want out of here. And I'm interested to see once he leave the Pelicans, how he's going to come back from all of the shit that's going on around him. And then there's other players too. It got me back to the 90s where I was able to see a lot of people play their hardest because I used to see everybody play the Bulls like that. And then also other people off the bench and stuff too. I didn't realize that the Pacers had 4 fucking lottery players on their team.
Yep.
I didn't know Obi Toppin was on the team, bro.
You are wild late.
I had no idea. I don't pay attention to the Pacers.
Yeah, you wild late. But that's my point though. It's like you saw shit and you realized shit. And he's like, wait a minute. It made me start paying attention more like I used to when I was younger. Reading the box scores in the Sun Times and looking at the ticker on ESPN and everything and really getting in deep to learn about some of these other players that's going ham.
Real quick though, can I say one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Bang, I'm not gonna let you off the hook when you said Chuck Person. The idea of Chuck Person cooking the Bulls, I just want to say, carry that footage.
Chuck,
delete that footage.
Bam.
Delete the
Chuck
real quick.
It was one night.
Chuck Person could
Fam, it was one game. Pav, it was one game. I can't remember. Of course, I can't remember the exact game. But Chuck hit a game-winning 3 on the Bulls on the corner and shit. Like from the corner, torched that ass. I'll find that YouTube joint. And possibly on there. But yeah, Chuck Person, he cooked the Bulls one game, hit a game-winning 3 against the Marks.
That's funny.
Saw it on Channel 9, WGN.
And I also think the NCAA tournament, especially with a team like the Pacers, is good for other players, right? So like you see a guy like Tyrese Halliburton, you might be like, damn, I want to go play with that guy. Like this is again Indiana. Like LA is easy. Want to go to LA. It's easy. Want to go to New York. It's easy to want to go to Miami. But want to go to Indiana, it take a different type. Like you must really want to win to go to Indiana. So even for like NBA players, like it's guys who coming up for like free agents. Like let's say Pascal Siakam or OG or I've always did his last name. Yeah, like. Maybe those guys like come up for trade and like Indiana may be scared to trade for them because they got 1 year left. But now that they seen that on national television, you're like, hey man, I wouldn't mind going to play with that guy. Like I would, re-sign that. So I also think that this tournament can be good for things like that, even for people inside the league.
Definitely. Dante, what you feel about the Pacers? Like basically what Halliburton can do in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think he could definitely take this team to the playoffs, and I think you're still going to have to get more talent around him in order for him to be, win a series. But I think this is another one of those young, exciting teams. The problem with that is we've seen the Pacers be that young, exciting team before, and then they ended up just breaking that team up. So it's a matter of what they do and who they bring in and bring around him. But I think as far as Halliburton, he's one of the young, talented guards in the league. Another, I ain't gonna say that. Another tall point guard and obviously I'm crazy, but no, I just think with him and Shy and it's a lot of young talent, and this is something that again, to like everybody's point, the in-season tournament was really good at giving people an opportunity to see a lot of players we normally don't see the spotlight on. So I think as far as Halliburton, the Pacers are definitely going in the right direction. Another crazy stat that they said during the tournament: over the past 6 years, nobody in the NBA has hit more threes than Buddy Hield. Like obviously, we would think Steph, Dame, stuff like that, but it's Buddy Hield. So they still got some pieces around him, and let's see what they can add to that and where they go with it.
I'll say this before we move on to our final topic of the show. Van, you said this is like the perfect like precursor to Christmas. By the way, I was looking the Christmas sports lineup, not just NBA, the sports lineup is incredible. In the NBA, you got Knicks Bucks, you got Nuggets Warriors, you got Lakers Celtics, you got Heat Sixers, you got Suns Mavericks, and in the NBA, you got 2 division games. I mean, NFL, you got 2 division games: Chiefs Raiders, Eagles Giants, and then the main event, the Niners and the Ravens on Monday Night Football. That is an amazing sports lineup
The
for
sports
just
guys looked. The
the
sports
sports
guy
guy,
looked out with the Niners versus the Ravens because that's the Super Bowl preview and the
bruh.
2 best records in the league.
That's gonna be a game. I'm looking forward to that. But last
Hey,
topic of go ahead, go
real
ahead.
quick, Pav, look at the chat. Look at the
What's up, man?
chat that I just sent up in there. Chuck Person game when it wasn't a 3, but it was a 20 point. It was a 20 footer against the Bulls. Hey, I remember that joint at Market Square
Wait,
Arena.
no, I don't see it.
It's good
I
to
sent it
private
in a
chat.
private chat.
Yeah, I don't see it.
It's
I
that
just see like sometimes
yes, click on that.
yeah, but it's just showing me the Tribune. It's not showing me like that.
Oh no, you got to click it.
I did, but like I'm not seeing it.
Oh, I ain't the video. It's an article.
Oh,
Yeah,
all
I
right.
thought that was the video.
Yeah, they ain't got the video. I definitely looked on YouTube, Jack.
So
I
what
was
what
right. We
video
looked on
what
YouTube.
video is easy to find? Chuck Pearson that 20 foot on the Bulls or James Worthy hitting more than one jump shot?
See, nigga.
They both about hard to find, boy. I
I'm
still to this
saying.
day have never seen a
I,
James Worthy jump shot.
I still want to see one hook shot from Wolf scoring 100 points. I got
Anything.
HD footage of JFK getting his head blown
I
off. But
can.
y'all
We
can't
got
show me one
footage
bucket.
of Dr. King getting a rock thrown at him in Marquette Park, but we ain't got
Come on now.
To be fair, there is a radio broadcast on YouTube of Wolf scoring 100 points. You can find a radio broadcast.
There's a lot of things you can do with audio. Okay. That nigga could have went to. He could have called up Paul from the Temptations. Like, nigga, let me use that studio real quick. He hit Smokey on the line. Let me use that studio real quick. But final topic of the episode before we get to I'm not gonna hold you overtime. You might want to subscribe. Because we're gonna be full in the hunt season. All Bears for about 45 minutes. So I'm not gonna hold you overtime. But final topic is to a team that me and Pavy cover, even though I've only been to one game this season, and that is the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers right now, I feel like they're kind of turning it around. They are currently the 9th seed in the playoff play-in bracket, but the last 10 games they are 7-3. Harden's really starting to get involved. Kawhi's been playing better. I'm gonna go to Pat first because you've been in a lot more games this season. Do you think that the Clippers are turning around a little bit? Like, what's your views in the last games?
Yes, I do. Harden has now played 16 games with the team. I think we are all around. Well, not. I think we're around the 20 game mark. Like I said, we have to remember that this team, James Harden, didn't have a training camp. This team did not have a training camp. So it's going to take some time to get things together. And yes, I think they're finally turning around. Obviously, moving Russ to the bench Russ was playing great, but if you got to pick between Russ or Harden, go to the bench. I'm picking Russ. I still think James could stand to be a little bit more aggressive. I think sometimes he's overpassing and not looking for his own shot enough. I think that's part of the next development. Is all of them figuring out a way to still be aggressive. Like even PG talking about, well, maybe I need to just focus more on rebounding and take a step back. No, you don't. One could be a argument could be made that at this point in their careers, Paul George is the best player on that team right now. A strong argument can be made. So we still need PG to be aggressive. We still need Kawhi to be aggressive. I think there was a game against, granted, I think it was Utah. No. Well, either the Utah game or it might have been even the Nuggets game that I actually had the pleasure to go to. All of them had like 20 points, which I think is what you want to see from them. Defensively, I don't know if anybody knows this, but I think Harden, PG, and Kawhi are all like top 15 in steals. Like they all average about 1.6 steals. So I think defensively, this has the potential to be something solid. Like I said, you still have PG, you still have Kawhi, who I don't think those guys are what they once were defensively, but now them having to take less of an offensive load because you have Harden, I think can help them out. I think T-Man, I wish he could shoot better, but he does bring something different to the starting lineup. Just somebody who will do something else. He'll set screens. He'll sit in the corner. He'll, play hard, defend. I think he brings something else to the team. I think one of the biggest things that happened that I think that people don't realize happened the same time that Harden came in was Plumlee got hurt, which made their team very, very small. I think adding Daniel Tice, a guy who can also step out and hit a three as well, which is something that they hadn't had from the center spot really the past 2 years. A guy who can step out and hit a three. I think that has helped as well. And I think Ty Lue figuring it out. I think they're all figuring it out, and I think that they have they might have the lowest floor out of the teams in the West, but I also think that they have probably the highest ceiling outside of maybe the Suns, the T-Wolves, and the Nuggets. So I think they might have the lowest floor, but also think they have the highest ceiling if everything works correctly.
I feel like we've been talking about the Clippers ceiling for like 5 years. Like, and I'm not that I disagree with you. I want to agree with you. I think that I'll be feeling bad for Russ, man, because like it's like Russ in this stage of his career is always about like the situation because of just keep real. His jump shot was never good to begin with, but it's really not good now. But I feel like he was finally finding a place in this offense, finding a place in this team, had a good camp. They actually started off the season pretty well, and then the Harden trade messed up all momentum. Granted, James Harden is a better player right now. I don't think that's ever is a discussion at all. I get that. I just don't understand why the Harden trade was necessary. I do feel like, you got rid of some. Go ahead.
I mean, you need tweak insurance. In theory, there's no way all four of them can tweak at the same time.
In theory.
And you need injury insurance. There's no way all four of them can be hurt at the same time. No. So and also it does help. Like if those guys are rolling in like a playoff series to beat them 4 times, that's hard to guard. Even if Harden's having a horrible game, you still got Kawhi, you still got PG, even Russ. Like when Russ comes off the bench, that level of energy that he brings when he just has to play for 20 minutes now, just run down the court fast for 20 minutes. Like even in the Nuggets game, his minutes early in the fourth quarter flipped the game. Like I thought the Nuggets were going, okay, fourth quarter, they're going to do what they do. Russ came in against most backup point guards. He's the best player.
Yeah.
So like when he comes in, like that level of energy and that level of aggressiveness he shows is needed. And yes, the trade was needed because again, you need tweak insurance. 2 of them could tweak, 3 of them could tweak, but there's no way all 4 of them is gonna tweak in theory.
I'll say this is the Clippers. If there's a will, there's a way. There's wills away. Dante Banks, anything y'all got on this, or y'all want to move on?
I just say, as usual, anytime you add that type of talent to any roster, especially a roster with other supreme talent, you really got to just give it time. So, I mean, it was only going to be a matter of time before they found their groove. Just never going to be one of those things where it just didn't work. I know people talk about, it's a lot of overlap and this, then the third. But at the same time, with talent like that, they know how to compromise for the sake of winning the game. And so, like Pavy said, it's a lot of different ways the Clippers can come at you now. So, I think it's going to be fun to see going forward. It's going to be real interesting. But I think, they definitely, are starting to get into their groove, and that's going to be a problem for everybody else.
Man, you got anything, or we good?
Basically, just because you bring all that talent on your team, that don't mean you're gonna win. Like you can't 2K GM it. And with all of the talent that the team has, you got to put that together. And we will see as the team grows, because I don't want to put no heavy emphasis on will they or won't they this early in the season, but they got the pieces there. It's just, can they work together? And why the fuck is dude calling me?
That is very Chicago way to end the show. Why the fuck is dude calling me? Perfect way. But that's all we got for y'all today on I'm Not Gonna Hold You, man. If you want to see more, we're about to record I'm Not Gonna Hold You overtime. Me, Bang, Dante, all Bears for 45 minutes. We're going full meatball mode in the hunt season. We're going to talk about the big win yesterday, 2 wins in a row, Justin Fields' performance. We're going to talk about, as Ryan Posen and Kevin Warren able to mind, something that me, Bang, and Mikey had a very intense conversation in the I'm Not Gonna Hold You group chat where I got jumped. We will be talking about that later, about that. We're also going to talk about the defense coming together and what exactly needs to happen for the Bears to make this last-minute playoff run, man. So if you want to see that, subscribe. Patreon.com/Barbers Chat Network. There's multiple tiers. There is the $5 I'm Not Gonna Hold You tier, where you get everything that we have to offer exclusively with I'm Not Gonna Hold You overtime, and I'm Not Gonna Hold You halftime, which is my midweek show, and it's just me each and every Wednesday. So I will be giving more, kind of more breakdowns on that show. So you can get all that for $5. But if you want all the great things that we offer on the Barbers Chat Network, subscribe to the Barbers Chat Network All Access for $10. You get summer sessions. Even though we are very inconsistent, I will make sure we have one for y'all next week before this year ends. even though it's not going to be this week. Next week, we're going to come back for y'all. We get your early 79th and Hallis episodes. And, of course, each and everything that we got with I'm Not Going to Hold You, Cinemas of Guys, everything, man. So we appreciate all y'all support. We appreciate everybody who watched. Last week, we had our most watched show. Last Friday, our most watched show since we started this new format. So we appreciate each and every one of y'all who watches, whether you watch the full thing, whether you watch the Instagram clip or a reel or whatever, TikTok, y'all cussing us out, telling we stupid, whatever. We appreciate all the love, man. So, Pav, man, thank you for joining us. Yeah, let them know, what you got going on. Of course, you got the new video out right now. Love It For Yourself with Glass Malone. And tell them a little bit about that and everything you got going on.
Yeah, man. Obviously, check out the Love For Yourself video. You can find it on YouTube, or you can find it anywhere you want that you like to watch videos. So check out the Love For Yourself video. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. It's at Pavy World. And yeah, new music coming soon. New everything coming soon. So follow me, keep in touch with me, and all of that. And shout out y'all for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. You know to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Barbershop Scott. Follow the Barbershop Network at Barbershop Net. Follow Dante on Twitter at OctoberZone. Follow JR Bang at JR Bang on all social media platforms, man. He's going to give y'all a new something dude this week. New first black champ. All that we got going on the Barbershop Network, man. So we going to holler at y'all Friday. Friday will be the last official Friday show. And I say official because we got the I'm Not Going to Hold You holiday special coming. So that's going to be our last live show, though, until 2024. So yeah, man, we appreciate y'all. We're going to holler at y'all overtime. If you're watching this live, that will be up at least by halftime of Giants Packers. We are all Tommy DeVito tonight. So we're going to holler at y'all, man. We out.
That paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not going to hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not going to